Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I wanted to do something a little bit different because there's a lot going on in our country right now, and I kind of felt that it was needed. So far, Trump is obviously suing a bunch of these states. There's a lot of weird stuff going on, and I'm talking more inconsistencies than in any other election. There are just some things that have not happened, and it's odd that of all the weird things happening, they favor Biden every time. Remember how Russia was this huge thing last year? And yet this year, Russia has magically disappeared. They don't care about our elections anymore. Last year, they cared a ton with that whole, they didn't have any evidence at all that whole time, the whole 3.5 years, none. Okay, well, let's see what evidence Trump has here to compare it. So I've obviously heard some interviews with Rudy Giuliani. I don't know if you have. That's pretty much Trump's lawyer, I believe. And he's brought up some pretty interesting things. Also, one thing I noticed here real quick, this guy right here, you can't go to court just because you don't like the vote totals. Ohio State election law professor Ned Foley. Ned Foley, if I ever see you on the street, you're going to get one of these, buddy. Okay, but Ned Foley aside. So the first thing, Pennsylvania, extended deadlines and observers. This is where things get a little weird. It's like if you were having a fair and balanced election, I could understand it. I'm not going to be distraught that Biden won. He's just going to be asleep in the office the entire time. I have no worries about that at all. It's just I need to know that Trump lost, that's what the people wanted, just so that I know society's fucked. It pretty much reinforces my previous thoughts. But Pennsylvania extended deadlines and observers, so people obviously were excluded. I mean, I think Giuliani said 50 to 70 people who vowed in court. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Pretty much something that they will get arrested if they are lying about. It's 50 to 70 people in Pennsylvania who are the conservatives that are supposed to observe the Democrats counting the ballots. But the Democrats said, no, you wait way back there. 20 plus feet for each of the people standing away from them, when Trump's team is claiming it's supposed to only be 6, right? Because how are you supposed to see someone? How do you see what someone's writing down on a table 20 feet away from them? Flat piece of, all that you'll be able to see is someone folding the paper up, yep, this one was wrong, throws the Trump one into the fucking trash. How is anyone supposed to know? They're 20 feet away. And then in Michigan, people weren't even allowed to go in. They put up those tack wall boards all around the fucking building, all around the windows, so people couldn't see in. What? How is that not bigger news? How do you have news sites like Fox News, the conservative news site, saying that everything's fine, just fine and dandy? These are things that have never happened in an election before. Let's see, we got a quote from Shapiro. I forget who he is, some person up top in the Pennsylvania political sphere, I guess. I'm not going to get into a rhetorical battle with the president. It's hardly a big deal, Shapiro said after the court decision that allowed observers in Philadelphia to stand a few feet closer to election workers. It has no effect on the outcome of this election. See, when you have someone that's that high up in the hierarchy for politics, I mean, they're pretty high up. They have a lot of weight in that sphere. And they're saying, oh, Trump was allowed to stand closer. It's it clearly designates that they have a bias towards Trump. Either way, I mean, I don't know anyone who is saying, oh, I don't want a fair election. I just want Trump to win. I know tons of people who just say, I just want to know he lost. I'd rather know that he lost so I can just laugh and make fun of Biden, knowing that that's what the country wanted. I want to know what the country wants. I don't want to know what the sleeping duck people, just some random prop that they decided to put up there on the hierarchy, and here you go. He's not going to be able to do anything. He's fallen asleep. And then in Michigan, we have unfounded claims of lack of transparency. Exactly point in case what I was talking about. They're literally putting up bulletin boards all around the building on the windows so people couldn't see in there. If you have that to hide, I don't even get how that's legal to do. It really isn't. That's the thing. It's not legal to do. So how is it not bigger as a news story? I've seen CNN say, Trump has no evidence. Yeah, this website, literally, Trump election lawsuits have most likely failed. Here's what they tried. Yeah, they tried it, even though the court process is still going on. They certainly tried it. Very good. They have video evidence of the of the ballot collectors literally sitting there tacking up the windows so that observers can't come in. There's one where I watched this one guy is just confronting the other guy. He's like, "I'm sorry, you can't come in here to see what's happening." The guy's like, "But it says right here I can observe any ballot collection and yada yada yada." And the guy's just like, "Nah, sorry, nope." And they just walk around and turn back around and go inside. It's like, what? That's not allowed. This guy even came back. He got something from the court saying that he is allowed to do it, like a court order saying, or a court mandate that saying that he can go in there. And he was rejected 3 more times. I believe that was how that one went. Don't fact check me here. I mean, I guess do fact check me here because I'm pretty sure that's how that story went. All right, well, I'm not going to stay on that topic this entire time. I had some other stuff I wanted to get to as well. So here we see that lawsuits pile up as Trump campaign alleges voter fraud in at least 5 states. It's not necessarily voter fraud. That's the biggest thing that people are trying to mislead with. It's voter impropriety. There are thousands at least cases of dead people that have voted. I saw on Louder with Crowder, they were doing their own private research and they saw that someone who was 170 years old voted in Georgia or Arizona, one of those areas. Or it might have been Michigan. But here we see the Biden selection by the crooked, okay, I'll read the actual tweet here. This is from Rudy Giuliani. The Biden selection by the crooked media is based on unlawful votes in Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, Wisconsin, Nevada. And there is a very high degree of evidence for this. I won't say either side because I'm open to anything. I just want to see how things play out. That's why I don't understand why everyone's pushing it. Just Biden's president. Here you go. Here's this fake sunshine story of Biden's the president-elect. Nope. You guys are fucking dumb. And then here we go, Twitter. This claim about election fraud is disputed. Okay, so he said unlawful votes, which means votes that came after. If you voted after the deadline, throw them bitches in the trash. Dead people voting. A huge thing is, evidently we're finding out now people who voted that moved away or that don't even live in that area anymore. And as we said before, there's supposed to be an observer watching the ballot counting happening. There's need to be a conservative and a Democrat side by side. You know, they both look at the piece of paper. They unwrap it from the envelope together, make sure everything is in tip-top shape, and then they both determine whether it is a valid vote or not. But that's not what's been happening. They've been having the observers 20 plus feet away in the background where they can't even see what the person's doing. So we'll now just click on this little dispute here that they got for me. Let's see this one. I'm sure it'll be hilarious. Yes, so voter fraud of any kind is exceedingly rare in the U.S., election experts confirm. Okay, so who the fuck are these experts? I'd love to talk to them. And obviously, it's rare. Obviously. I'm not even an expert, and I know it's rare. That's why it's so insane that the amount of impropriety is this high across the board in these swing states specifically. The major states Trump needed to win is the stuff this all was happening in. The states Michigan, boarding up the windows, Wisconsin or Pennsylvania, huge impropriety. And that's why this doesn't really even apply to what Giuliani was saying. I mean, there are ballots that are sent in. They were saying to accept ballots sent in with only Biden filled out, say at the top. The rest of the ballots blank as shit. They didn't vote for anyone else. There's no one that excited to vote for Biden that they just skip everyone else. I'd say the people who voted for Biden probably filled the ticket out backwards, where they started at the bottom, like the least important person, and went all the way up to the top just with the feeling of regret, like, God damn it. But as you can see, this isn't even saying something related to it is, but okay, voter fraud is exceedingly rare. What? No shit. That's why we want to look into it, and that's why it's so concerning how this is and how this is framed. I love that YouTube and Twitter, Instagram, they're the fact-checked centrals now. As you guys know, where all of the intellects hang out, Twitter, fucking Instagram, the smartest people there. And then let's see this shit. Now, I don't know if you guys saw that Kayleigh McEnany, I think that's her name. Yeah. She's the press secretary for Trump, and she was mid-talking, and Fox News, the host there, the conservative voice on Fox News, literally ended her speech. They just stopped showing it before she could even give any evidence. Yeah, here, let's see what he said. I forget what it was. Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's see. Speaking to the media on Monday night in her personal capacity during what she said was a campaign event at the Republican National Committee headquarters, McEnany said Republicans want every legal vote to be counted and every illegal vote to be discarded, something I think should be uncontroversial to anyone. Like, if you truly think you won the election, why would you want people to say that you didn't? Yeah, here. Prompting the conservative Fox News network to stop broadcasting the briefing. Yes, he's very conservative, you can tell. This is why I'm saying Fox News is not on your side. They are not the ones that you think, the conservative voice. If you're just watching Fox News, they will still mislead you about these things. I mean, they called, Arizona or Nevada? I can't remember which one it was. Way earlier. They were the first one to call it for Biden. They are just as in the loop as these other mainstream medias like CNN. They all do the same shit. From studio host Neil Cavuto said, Whoa. I just think we have to be clear. She's charging the other side as welcoming fraud and welcoming illegal voting. Unless she has more details to back that up, I can't in good countenance continue to show you this. Oh, really, motherfucker? Really? If she had more... All right, here. Good thing I've had this pulled up, right? So as we can see, that YouTube's given us the disclaimer. The AP has called the presidential race for Joe Biden. Yeah, well, the AP, they can fucking tongue me because they're going in the trash with everything else. The AP doesn't mean anything. Robust safeguards help to ensure the integrity of election and results. I'm sure they do. Very robust safeguards that you guys tried to get rid of. Every single one of them. No voter ID. Let's take these safeguards and just throw them in the trash too. But they're very good when they're in place. Really? All right, well, let's see. This is the exact part where he cut her off.
You take these positions because you are welcoming fraud and you are welcoming illegal voting. Our position is clear.
So he ended it right there. They minimize her, put her into the background, mute her mic, everything. And he's just talking. We're going to need some serious allegations and proof behind that one. All right, well, let's skip on ahead about 45 seconds here.
Pennsylvania is a case study in just this. Allow me to just broadly review 3 points that have happened in Pennsylvania.
Whoa, she actually brought some evidence with her?
Poll watchers who are legally
It's a good thing you minimized her.
To be there and observe the vote count were blocked from observing the count. Our poll watchers were put behind barricades in a massive room. They were many feet from the counting process. And in fact, when you look at all of the tables, many hundreds of feet, in fact,
this isn't evidence.
From the tables in the very back. They were completely
They only had 70 people.
Completely unable to oversee the vote count.
Able to go under oath for that.
Right. An observer on the scene describes it this way. Imagine being on a football field. You're on the 10-yard line and expected to make a call in the end zone on the other side of the field. It is unacceptable. An intermediary
not the best analogy, but I think it gets the job done.
Of transparency and allowing the poll watchers to observe the count. But what did the Democrat Pennsylvania Supreme Court do? They issued an administrative stay, effectively pushing back our poll watchers and denying them the access they deserve.
That's so weird.
To sit and watch the count.
Because that's actually against the constitutional laws.
What are Pennsylvania Democrats hiding? Why can't poll watchers simply observe the count? Second, Article 1, Section 4 of the United States Constitution clearly states this. The time,
this is no evidence at all. Let's just mute her before she can say anything. That was literally a minute and 8 seconds into this video, into her 20-minute long talk. And this isn't just her the whole time, other people step in. But, I mean, man, that is Fox News. As you saw, that news article I was reading before called him the conservative voice of Fox. Like, are you kidding me? I don't even really consider myself that much of a conservative, but that dude has to be on the way into the spectrum. I can't imagine how that's a conservative voice that would want to shut someone else down. And it might not be his call. Don't let that throw you off too. Some of this stuff comes down from the higher ups at these news medias, and it just trickles down. And sometimes the anchor won't really have a choice in what the outcome is. It's unfortunate, but still, I think you should have the balls to stand and talk up. I would not read that knowingly that I'm just shutting down whatever she's trying to say?
Prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. That's right. The state legislature is constitutionally the one making the decision. But the Supreme Court of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, Kathy Boockvar, and the Democrat-tilted Pennsylvania Supreme Court have continually disregarded the Constitution, making decisions clearly in the domain of the Pennsylvania legislator.
It's almost like they're kind of trying to make it seem like Biden won again so that they can say Russia, Russia, Russia all over again. Remember the Russia? I was talking about it earlier, 3.5 years. And this was for like $10,000 worth of ads on Facebook by just some random person in Russia, just some random laptop. Like, that is not even close. That couldn't even swing my little town of 200 people. And they were on that for 3.5 years saying it. It's almost like they're trying to cover it up now and say, look, everyone, Biden won. Look, the AP says Biden won. Here it is. They stole it from us again. Look, we lost in court. How is this possible that they're stealing the election? It just blows my mind that people, it's just low information voters. And I don't care, like, you can vote for either side if you truly know the policies and what you're backing, but none of them do. I'm telling you, none of them. It's mind-blowing, and I can see why. These information, these news outlets and stuff just block all of it. They don't let you see any of it. Even Fox News.
In fact, maybe there's a reason the Secretary of State, Boockvar, keeps substituting her will for that of the legislature in a completely unconstitutional fashion. Perhaps it's because she has motive. In fact, she has shown her partisan hatred tweeting this, using the title, quote, president before the word, quote, Trump, really just means the office of the presidency. We see where her motives stand. And finally, a mere survey of the facts shows that voters in blue counties like Philadelphia County were given certain privileges that voters in red counties were not afforded.
Yep.
The Constitution's Equal Protection Clause requires uniform standards, but Democrat election officials created disparities depending on where citizens lived and where they voted in the state. Some counties set up satellite offices for backdoor early voting, whereas other counties did not.
Sounds like
Some
they got a
counties
lot of
allowed
fucking evidence here.
pre-canvassing, where other counties did not. Voters in some counties were allowed to cure their ballots, whereas voters in other counties were not.
Yeah, so this is like if you sent in an invalid ballot, you just fucked it up. Maybe you're a little drunk or something and you wrote your name in the wrong place or forgot to sign it somewhere. They would actually keep your ballot and come back to your address and give you the ballot back for you to fix. And they would only do this in Democratic areas. Another thing, that gives one side in a disproportionately larger advantage where they can just have people fix their messed up ballots, which is constitutionally bound. You're not allowed to do that. It has to be a fair race.
Is provide a case study into how to tip the scales of an election to functionally favor the Democrat Party. This has gone on nationwide.
Yep.
And I'll leave you with this. In DNC versus Wisconsin State Legislature, in another attempt to count late ballots that arrived after the election, Justice Gorsuch wrote, "Nothing in our founding document contemplates the kind of judicial intervention that took place here, nor is there precedent for it in 230 years of the court's decisions." He went on to say,
yeah, this stuff's
"No one
never happened
doubts
before.
That conducting a national election amid a pandemic poses serious challenges. But none of that means individual judges may improvise with their own election rules in place of those the people's representatives have adopted. They have taken a global pandemic and turned it into a nationwide electoral epidemic."
Exactly. I'm telling you. I might have to go into this conspiracy sometime, but man, the Chinese, Trump tariffs China, makes it so that it's so much harder to import stuff from over there, brings our jobs back. Magically, a Chinese virus comes. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have spread the conspiracy around now. But things are weird, all right? That is a conspiracy theory, too. That's just something entirely out there. Large claims require large evidence, and that's why large claims of voter impropriety require that you... Oh, never mind. You can't prove that at all. Nope. No one can prove that. It's very small amounts. Look, guys, just look at... See, it's very rare to happen. So that means that this election specifically... It won't happen at all. It just barely, just a little. All right, well, I just had to talk my piece this time. I had a lot to say about this. I actually want to do more stuff like this too. I didn't want to enter this political sphere, but I have a lot of strong opinions on this stuff. So I wanted to give my part of it. However, like I said, these are just my opinions, so everything's open to change. Like I said, I don't even think Biden lost necessarily, but with all these inconsistencies, I have a hard time believing that this was a fair election. And that's all I'm going to say for now. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.